Many people died before we got to Novosibirsk. The Russians took everyone. They didn't care whether the person was 90 years old or a newborn infant, crippled or blind. They didn't care. They deported them all. We walked on the frozen Yenisei. It was terrible. We were walking day after day. We walked 18 miles every day from one small settlement to another, where we stayed overnight, ate a little, and slept. They used the sleds to carry our things, and when somebody really couldn't walk, they let them sit down on them for a little while. My sister, she was 6 years old, so she sat on the sleds for a few short moments, but the rest of us, we walked and walked for days on the frozen river. Later, near the end of spring, it was getting warmer and the ice was melting. I overheard two guards talking to each other. God forbid the ice breaks and we all drown. We were exhausted. It was the most terrible part of our journey to Siberia. The train wasn't easy either, but at least we could sit or lie down, and somehow it was easier. We had something to eat because my parents had a store in our village, and my mom took 48 pounds of sugar with her. I remember she gave us a little bit of the sugar, and we licked it off our hands to get a little bit of strength, and it kept us alive. We got to Siberia in this way. The army left us in Novosibirsk for the people in Siberia to watch. They didn't have guns to point at us. They didn't need them. There was nowhere for us to go, nowhere to escape. The next day they came and sorted out people to work in the gold mine. My oldest brother and my two older sisters were chosen. I want to tell you, it isn't possible to imagine. Nobody can imagine how primitive it was in this gold mine. What they did was, they were digging in one place. If they didn't find any gold, they started to dig in a new place. They dug tunnels, shallow tunnels, under the surface, put poles up so that the tunnels wouldn't collapse. There was a converter with water, which rinsed the digging soil so that people were working up to their knees in water or mud for 10 hours. When they said this part had to be dug out, we had to go and work. It didn't matter whether we were tired or sick, we had to work. If you didn't work, you didn't get bread. So people were digging up the gold, and then a Russian came and took it. Once I saw him taking handfuls of gold. That was how we worked there. Many, many people died in this gold mine. One of my cousins, my godmother's son, so handsome. He was killed. It was a terrible job. Day after day they worked us like this. My father was sent to burn the wood. That was also a terrible job. They covered burnt wood with soil and burnt coal. My father's face was always black. I visited him there. One of my older sisters and I were chosen to cut the forest. I had been working there cutting trees for maybe 2 weeks. I don't know why, but one day, one of the guards came and told me I was too young to work cutting trees. Mostly 15 or 16-year-olds work there. I was 12. I was released and stayed with my mommy and my two little sisters, 10 and 7 years old at that time. I helped my mommy in this way. I was a runner, a connection between her and my father and the rest of my siblings working in the gold mine and my sister cutting trees in the forest. So I would run around. If my brother had something to eat, I brought it to my mommy, or if somebody needed something and one of us had it, I brought it. We helped each other in this way.
przyniosłam. I tak w koło myśmy się wymieniali i w ten sposób pomagali. Tam głód był okropny, ale co? Była rzeka.
The hunger was terrible, but there was a river. Fish. What fish? I had never had fish like those before. It was such a clear river, and the salmon. What delicious salmon I ate. There were different kinds of fish. The river fed us. If it wasn't for that river and those fish, we would have all died from hunger. Only the fish helped us survive. Every day my mommy cooked them and we ate them. I also often went to beg at a small village, 12 miles from us, so that I could bring back a little food, a few potatoes. That was from 1940 until 1941. In the spring of 1941, they took me to the farm to work. Nobody even thought about school. We were so far up along the Yenisei compared to most others. They sent us the furthest north. You can see it on the map.